Hello, this is Required Fields. Apparently, ABC Nightline, Beyond Belief, did something not too long ago. Some of you might have seen it. It dealt with the occult, and there was a segment on it that was linked metal music to the occult and whatnot. I got to say that this thing that ABC Nightline did was absolutely despicable and degrading. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for it. Completely made the metal community look bad. And they should be ashamed of themselves for it. Well, Dave Mustaine was one of the people they interviewed, the guitar player and vocalist for Megadeth. I'm a huge Megadeth fan. They're one of my top 3 favorites, without a doubt. Not my main favorite. Seeing them live back in 2010 with Megadeth, with Testament and Slayer, Megadeth, Testament, and Slayer, the 3 bands of the bill. Those are 3 of my favorite bands, and it was the best show I've ever been to. And so obviously I'm a rabid Megadeth fan, but I honestly do believe that the interview is at least partially staged and whatnot. Well, not staged. I think they obviously sensationalized a bit and edited it to make it look bad and make metal look bad and whatnot. I know that Dave Mustaine is a Christian, and he's admitted this. He's a Christian now, and admitted that in several interviews, and I think they honestly did try to sensationalize it a bit, to try and make things look a little more dramatic and compelling and whatnot, and to make the metal community look worse. And also, some of you may remember that case where back in the 90s where Slayer was sued after a few people who were Slayer fans raped and murdered some girl, and then when it was revealed that they were metal fans, they particularly fans of Slayer, and as the parents of the victim went after the bands that they were listening to, particularly Slayer, and they ended up taking Slayer to court for it, but Slayer ended up winning the case, which is a good thing, because Slayer did not cause that crime whatsoever. The only people that were responsible were the killers themselves, and they did not do it because they listened to that type of music. They did it because there was obviously something very, very, very wrong with them to begin with. They had that special, that as part of the special too. They had something about that case on there, and anyways, so yes, I found the thing to be very degrading and offensive to the metal community. And anyways, also they mentioned Megadeth being death metal in the ABC special. Megadeth have never been a death metal band whatsoever. And also the parents who sued Slayer also tried to ban the sale of death metal albums to minors. And Slayer is not and has never been a death metal band ever at any point of their career. And also, they seem to mainly go after death metal because of lyrical content, and well, like Slayer's never been death metal, and also there are tons of death metal bands with little, if any, content that is really offensive in any form whatsoever. Tons and tons of them. There are many kids and family movies out there with content more likely to offend most people than many death metal bands have in their entire catalog. And also, then again, the parents of sued Slayer, I think that you could honestly show them like a normal metal band, lyrically normal metal band with no content that was satanic or occult related whatsoever, nothing too violent or disturbing, and a band that doesn't even have any swear words in their lyrics. Maybe something I'm thinking along the lines of Death's later albums, and maybe Testament and albums like Practice What You Preach and Soul to Black. Bands with lyrics more along the lines of those albums than anything I'm thinking of. And but yes, a more normal metal band lyrically, more likely a normal metal band. They would browse the lyric sheet, and within a matter of seconds, they would find something that they would find a way to perceive the band's lyrics as being offensive, obscene, objectionable, and whatever, and want to have the album banned as well. I even think you could show them a Christian metal band with the lyrical proof that the band was indeed Christian, and they would still manage to come up with a way to call the band offensive, objectionable, obscene, blasphemous, evil, or whatever. And also since I mentioned Slayer isn't even death metal, I'm sure that they also view groups like the other groups that aren't death metal, like Pantera and Metal Church, Machine Head, even Dream Theater are probably death metal if you'd ask them, and they wanted their albums banned too. So, by that logic, pretty much erases the entire metal scene out, pretty much. And so they obviously went with the "a few bad apples can spoil the bunch" mantra and whatnot. And I've been a metalhead for most of my life, and there are a few pricks here and there, yes, but that's the case of any community. And I found the vast majority of the metal community to be fantastic people. Some of the most laid back, polite, friendly, caring people out there are part of the metal community. And I bet that if the parents of Slayer were actually to meet some of the members of the metal community I'm speaking of, they would have a completely different outlook of the metal scene itself. And also, I could just imagine people who aren't really familiar with metal music, never looked into it, will probably watch this, and then they would just, now they'll likely just have the thoughts of, oh, that we're all like this, when most of the metal scene is composed of fantastic people. And anyways, also I would like to say also that I remember in that case where Slayer sued the father of a girl who was raped and murdered. Even went on to say that metal bands don't even care about what their fans did to their daughter, and all they care about is money. Yet he and his wife are suing the band for millions of dollars. What a hypocrite. But Dave Mustaine, yes, he may be a Christian, but he's obviously not a complete whack job either. I mean, he's I think, like I said, they edited part of the interview to dramatize and sensationalize it. The news in general often does that, and I definitely think that's what they did here to make the metal scene look a little worse than it is. Most of the metal scene is great people, but as a metal fan myself, it always seems as if when we were making significant progress, it seems as if sensationalized garbage like this takes us down. It's one step forward, two steps back, basically. And anyways, to the metal community watching, stay strong, be proud of who you are, and shame on ABC for having this degrading, this special that was offensive, and it was degrading to the metal community. You should be ashamed of yourself for it. And in general, I would like the media to stop the discrimination and abuse of the metal community. To my brothers and sisters in metal who are watching this, stay strong. This is Rick Waterfield signing off. Goodbye.